Almost every expat I've met here has told me the same story. I was only coming for 6 months. Some planned to stay for a year, others were simply travelling through Southeast Asia before moving on to somewhere else. Yet somehow, they're still here. 5 years later, 10 years later, sometimes even 20. It's happened so many times that it can't simply be coincidence. So what is it about Cambodia? Why do people arrive with an exit plan only to quietly stop talking about leaving altogether? Is it the weather, the lower cost of living, the ancient temples, the relaxed lifestyle? I don't think it's any one of those. I think it's something much harder to explain, because Cambodia doesn't usually convince people to stay overnight. It happens gradually, quietly, almost without you noticing. Today, let's take a ride through Siem Reap and explore why so many expats never leave Cambodia. Like every new adventure, it begins with excitement. Everything is unfamiliar, every street feels interesting, every market is worth exploring, every tuk-tuk ride becomes an experience. You photograph everything, the temples, the food, the river, the cafes, even the traffic. Friends back home are fascinated. Your camera roll fills with sunsets and smiling faces. Every day feels like another page in an adventure. At this stage, you're still comparing everything with home. You notice what's different, what surprises you, what shocks you. You're still seeing Cambodia through the eyes of a visitor. And that's exactly what makes it so exciting. But adventures don't last forever. Eventually, real life begins. Life begins to slow down. This is the stage that catches people by surprise. You stop trying to see everything. You stop feeling like you have to make every day count. Instead, you simply start living. Morning coffee becomes a routine. The same bakery, the same coffee shop, the same walk beside the river. You begin recognizing faces. The lady serving breakfast smiles because she remembers your order. The tuk-tuk driver waves as he passes. You discover your favourite quiet bench. You know exactly where the best fruit is sold. Without realising it, your life becomes wonderfully ordinary. Back home, many of us spent years rushing, always looking at the clock, always thinking about tomorrow. Cambodia has a remarkable ability to slow that rhythm down. Not because people are lazy, but because life simply feels less hurried. Time somehow stretches, and many people realise they don't actually miss living at full speed. Less financial pressure. This isn't really about becoming wealthy. It's about something much more valuable. Breathing. Many expats arrive carrying years of financial pressure. Mortgages, bills, commuting. The feeling that life has become one long cycle of earning money just to spend it again. Cambodia doesn't magically solve those problems, but for many, it eases them. Rent can be affordable, eating out doesn't always feel like a luxury. Fresh markets are everywhere. Simple pleasures don't cost very much at all. Suddenly, money stops dominating every decision. And when financial pressure begins to ease, something else changes too. Your mind becomes quieter. You start worrying less, sleeping better, smiling more. That's a powerful thing. One day, something very strange happens. You suddenly realise you haven't taken a photograph all week. Not because Cambodia has become less beautiful, but because you've stopped looking at it as a tourist. The supermarket feels familiar, the roads make sense, you know where to buy fresh bread, where to get your laundry done, which cafe has the best coffee, which restaurant makes your favourite meal. The extraordinary has quietly become ordinary. And that's often the exact moment Cambodia starts feeling like home. Not because anything dramatic happened, but because daily life became comfortable. If there is one reason mentioned again and again by long-term expats, it's the people. Not because every Cambodian is perfect, no country works like that, but because kindness is often found in the smallest moments. Someone helping without being asked, children waving as you walk past, neighbours smiling, market sellers remembering your face, restaurant staff asking how you've been. These aren't spectacular events, they're tiny moments, but hundreds of tiny moments eventually become something much bigger. They become belonging, and belonging is one of the strongest reasons people struggle to leave. Every newcomer compares Cambodia with somewhere else. Thailand, Vietnam, back home. Everyone does it. Which roads are better? Which country is cheaper? Which food do I prefer? Which healthcare system is best? But after a while, the comparisons quietly disappear. Cambodia no longer needs to compete with anywhere else. It simply becomes Cambodia. Not better, not worse, just different. And strangely enough, different starts feeling exactly right. Perhaps the biggest surprise isn't Cambodia itself. It's how Cambodia changes your priorities. Many people arrive chasing a cheaper lifestyle. They stay because they discover a better one. Life becomes less about buying things, more about experiencing moments. Morning walks, coffee with friends, watching children play, sunsets by the river, family meals. Conversations that aren't interrupted by checking the time. You begin measuring wealth differently, not by what you own, but by how much peace your days contain. It's an incredibly difficult lesson to learn. Cambodia seems to teach it naturally. Then, one day, somebody asks you a simple question. So, when are you going home? You pause, not because you don't know the answer, but because you're suddenly unsure what the word home actually means. The place where you were born, or the place where your life now feels complete. That's the moment so many expats remember. The moment they realise they aren't just living in Cambodia anymore, they're living at home. And perhaps that's the secret. Cambodia rarely demands that people stay. It simply gives them enough reasons not to leave. Cambodia certainly isn't perfect. There are frustrations, there are difficult days, the heat can be relentless, paperwork can test your patience, there will always be things you miss about home. But perhaps perfection isn't what people are looking for. Perhaps they're looking for balance, for community, for simplicity, for a life that feels just a little less rushed. Somewhere between the morning coffees, the evening walks beside the river, the familiar smiles at the market, and the quiet rhythm of everyday life, Cambodia has a habit of changing people. Not dramatically, not overnight, just little by little, until one day you realise the life you came here searching for is the life you're already living. Maybe that's why so many expats never leave. Not because Cambodia is the easiest place in the world to live, not because it's the cheapest, not because it's perfect, but because somewhere along the way it quietly becomes part of who you are. And that's something no guidebook, no travel brochure, and no YouTube video can ever fully explain. It's something you have to experience for yourself. If you've enjoyed this trip through Siem Reap and found something in today's video that resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever visited Cambodia? Or perhaps you're thinking about making the move? Let me know in the comments below. I read everyone. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video with anyone who's curious about life in Cambodia. It really helps the channel grow and allows me to keep making these documentaries. And if you'd like to support the channel a little further, you can use the super thanks button below the video or the buy me a coffee link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. This is Cambodia through my eyes. I'll see you in the next one.